Two identical balls collide elastically in one dimension. One ball is initially at rest while the other approaches with the speed of u. Determine the velocities of both balls after collision. Alright, so let's draw a rough diagram. This is the before collision. So before collision, we have this ball, which is moving in this direction with a speed u1. Then it collides with this other ball, which is at rest. Now remember, these balls are identical. This means that if this one has mass 1, this one has mass 2, the masses are the same because they're identical. This is happening before collision. Then what happens after collision? So after collision, what will happen in this case is that this here will represent, remember it's elastically, so this here will represent u1, or rather v1 now. Then this one here will represent v2. So our job is to find their velocities. This is m1, this is m2 after collision. So now for the speeds, this one will go in this direction, while this one, it's either it goes in the opposite direction or it becomes motionless. So for this one, we're not sure. So let's break it down so that we understand what is happening. So momentum, if momentum is conserved, it means that the sum of momentum initial is equals to the sum of momentum final. We have two objects, so we can say momentum for 1 plus momentum for 2 is equals to momentum for 1 prime plus momentum for 2 prime. This is m1 u1 plus m2 u2. This is equals to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. So before collision, the second ball was resting, so it had a velocity of 0. So this will obviously cancel out. So if that's the case, let's bring it here. We only remain with m1 u1 being equals to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Now remember, these balls are identical. So if they're identical, it means that the masses are exactly the same. So m1 is the same as m2. So let's just replace that with m, meaning that this will become m u1 is equals to m v1 plus m v2. Now m is common throughout, so I can divide throughout by m. So we can say over m over m over m. So if that's the case, mass cancels here, mass cancels here, mass cancels here, leaving us with u1 is equals to v1 plus v2, like this. So this is the first equation that is created. Alright, so now let's create another equation. The other equation that we're going to create here is we're going to use kinetic energy. So since kinetic energy is conserved as well, then we know that the sum of the initial kinetic energy is equals to the sum of the final kinetic energy. That is kinetic energy for 1 plus kinetic energy for 2 is equals to kinetic energy for 1 prime plus kinetic energy for 2 prime. This is just the same as the summation of momentums on both sides. So kinetic energy, half mv squared. So half m, let's use u squared, plus half m, this is u1, u2 squared is equals to half m v1 squared plus half m v2 squared. Notice how I'm not specifying to say mass 1, mass 2, because none of the masses are the same. So if I multiply throughout by, or rather, if I divide throughout by m, mass cancels out. So I'll remain with half u1 squared plus half u2 squared is equals to half v1 squared plus half v2 squared. Now remember, initially the second block or the second ball was at rest. So just like we did in the previous step, this cancels out. There's no initial velocity for object 2. I can get rid of the half by multiplying throughout by 2. So I'll remain with u1 squared is equals to v1 squared plus v2 squared. Now at this stage, we have an expression for u1. Now remember, u1, we have this equation that is pending here, which we call equation 1. We can substitute it into this equation. So this can actually become v1 plus v2 is equals to, this is squared. This is equals to v1 squared plus v2 squared. So if we solve this by first expanding the left hand side, the expansion of the left hand side will be v1 squared plus 2 v1 v2 plus v2 squared. All this is equals to v1 squared plus v2 squared. So this and this can cancel out, because if one crosses the equal sign, they'll just cancel out. Likewise, this and this will cancel out, because if it crosses the equal sign, they'll just cancel out. This only leaves us with 2 v1 times v2 is equals to nothing. So in short, is equals to 0. Now, what do we do at this stage? If I divide both sides by 2, then I'll remain with v1 times v2 is equals to 0. Now, the idea here is, remember the initial velocity of the first object had a velocity u1. So, one of the velocities in this case must be a 0. So we can say v1 was moving towards v2. Then after the collision, they just swap the velocities, meaning that if v1 becomes 0, then v2 becomes u, like that. So to understand what is happening here, remember, let me just bring back the diagram. This is the ball that is moving towards the other. This is the ball which is at rest. These two are identical. So what happens is, after the collision, the second ball moves in this direction, while the other ball comes to rest. That's what we're saying. This one was moving with a velocity u1. This one here was at rest. But after collision, because they're identical, they swap velocities. So, after the collision, the first ball, which is this one, 1, is the same as this one. After the collision, they simply swap the velocities, and the velocity that the first one had becomes the velocity of the second one, or the other one comes to rest. So, initial velocity for 1 was just u. It was just u as a velocity. Then initial velocity for 2 was 0. But after collision, this velocity becomes 0, while this velocity is the one that becomes u. And that's the u that we have right here. So these are the two velocities of both objects after collision.